Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth Raven, Louis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Louis Bright Raven, 33-year professional comics creator, editor, publisher, as well as science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And it's Monday. That means it's Monday Manga. We've been talking about the series ATOM the Beginning, and I already put the books away like an idiot. Oh, well. But let's go ahead and get talking about them. We're at volumes 9 and 10 at $12.99 each. Publisher is Stonebot Manga and Titan Comics. Pop Culture Avengers in the House. Original story by Osamu Tezuka, writer Masami Yuiki. Translation by Jonathan Clements and Motoko Tamamuro. Art Tetsuro Kasahara. Lettering by Tom Williams. Supervisor Makoto Tezuka. And this, you see this C's a little bit off in there. That's because for the last few issues, it's been M-A-K-O-T-O-O, and I didn't realize that it changed the spelling. I don't know which one's right, but that's what issues 9 and 10 say is C-O-T-O. Tezuka and Tezuka Productions. Genre is science fiction, heroic fiction. These came out in October 24 and February 2025, respectively. What is number 9 about? After encountering a malfunctioning robot, Tenma and the gang decide to diagnose him by linking him to Six's mainframe. But when the two robots' minds start to fuse, the team must do everything in their power to save Six from losing his identity before it's too late. What did I think of this particular issue? Sometimes I think Tenma and Hiroshi are two of the stupidest geniuses that ever lived. Why the bloody hell would you link a malfunctioning robot to your main guy's primary matrix to diagnose it? Have a damn slave bot laptop for that sort of thing. Yeesh. Of course, this entire mess puts more undue and unnecessary strain on their relationships with one another and with the rest of their team and with Six. Now, there is a deliberate fractured layering of storytelling in this issue as well. A distinct break from the first half and the second half of the trade volume, with the latter half of the book being very by the numbers and formatted in a plot structure, whereas the first half was much more dynamic and emotional. The back half of the book almost served as a plot filler, while the characterization was all intense and up in your face at the beginning of the book. It feels a little bit off because it's almost like you read all the action and characterization and then get 90 to 100 pages of what you might feel as info dump at the end of the back of the book. Because of this, I admit that this was something that was struggled to get through. Maybe if it had been paced differently with the info dump interspersed throughout the book instead of largely at the back third of the story, it might have been better. But I guess I also know why they formatted it this way, but I do wonder if this was how it was formatted in the original Japanese. There's some story points here and there that don't quite mesh, and I felt were slightly out of place. So I admit I'm getting a little bit confused on that one. If it was just a bad translation somewhat, or I'm not really sure why they did it the way they did it, but it kind of feeds into the next issue. We'll get into that in a minute. And I do have to admit, after 9 volumes, I'm getting a little burned out on the series as well, with each one of them being 200 plus pages. It's a lot of reading. This one I'll give a 3 out of 5. Pop says it's a cool looking cover. Yeah, it is. I don't know. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the volumes now, so I can actually show them. Here's a little more that, and yeah, I'm not like against it or anything. I just kind of basic on some of the early stuff here compared to what we've seen in other issues. Usually there's a lot more gray gray scale and shading than there was in this one. You go to the next page when things are at night and there's some. But it's not quite more violence. People getting shot. Hiroshi actually gets shot in this as well. So, yeah, I'm okay with this one. It's just not my favorite of the arcs that they've done so far. Okay. As you can hear or see, a little corner there, the Midnight Monster is here. You want to get up here? Yes, you do. Okay. Hello, everybody. Here's the Midnight Monster. He wants to say hi. This is book 9. And then this is book 10. And what it's about is responding to a distress call. 6 scurries around only to be greeted by an old acquaintance. But when a powerful foe starts detecting 6, the AI must grapple with the options of saving his friends and saving himself. Now, what do I think about this episode? Well, given the info dump and philosophizing at the back end of volume 9, it pays off in this volume because 6 is thrust into a sort of Asimov and Philip K. Dick plot where you're exploring the AI, but also playing up Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, where you're not supposed, you're supposed to never hurt humans and sacrifice yourself for the humans and everything like that. And it comes down to, is 6 a robot or is he something else now? If he chooses to preserve his own life over that of his human friends. And then they're playing into the code of the samurai and the loyalties of a samurai to their master versus that of a ronin. And are those binary and seemingly opposing worldviews relatable in a robot's mind or not? So there's a lot of interesting philosophies and subtext going on in volume number 10. So it did pick up quite a bit and improved from volume 9. And I'm like not quite as I was thinking I'm almost done with even getting the series, but number 10 really picked up things. And it just so happens that I need to take a week off of manga for next week because volume 11 actually comes out next week. And I'll need time to digest that so we can move on to the next series. It would be dumb to start a new series next week and then come back the following week with volume 11. So I'm just going to skip next week and give myself a time to read issue 11 or volume 11, I should say. This one I give 4. It's a strong 4, almost a 4.5, but compared to the 3 for volume 9. I don't know if you guys can see like the devastation of the different robots that he has to face in volume 10. On the back cover there. Different members of the robots are like conversing with each other, trying to figure out how they feel about each other. how would I rate the series overall so far? I'd have to go back and check real quick. Let me do that as soon as the computer lets me. Oh, kitty boy. He's in my lap trying to hold on to things. Let's see. I've been doing. So let's see. Where did we start? Okay, start there. Okay. Let's see. Most of these books have been getting 4s. There's been like 2 of them that were 3s and 1 3.5. So we're looking at probably around a 3 3/4 star to 4-star rating so far for overall. Yes, we know. We know. You guys can't see him because he's in the lap, but come on. Nope, I don't want you to do that. He's a big baby. He just wants attention. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to lay down in your lap. Nope. Because when you're in my lap, I can't get to the keyboard. Yeah. So anyway, that is our review for this week. Next time on Monday Manga will be June 30th, and we'll conclude the current run with Volume 11, which again comes out next week. This Thursday, we're going to be reviewing quite a few books. The planned books are The Slasher's Apprentice #2 from Mad Cave, You'll Do Bad Things #3 from Image, The Lost World of George Metzger, Bug Wars #5 from Image, Blood and Thunder #2 from Image, Epitaphs from the Abyss #12 from Oni, EC Comics. And then there's Usagi Yojimbo, 10,000 Plums. I think it's #4 and #5. Mousegard, the Dawn of the Black Axe, which is volume 3. Supposedly back issue number 150 or 160 is out. It's going to be their swimsuit edition. We're going to talk about Craig A. Taileffer's John. And I can't remember. I know it's Thief of something, but I can't remember what it is. Hold on a second. Thief of Kor Shavara. And then there's Benjamin #1. And there possibly will be more as well, depending on what all Chris and John have as well. And then on Friday this week, we're going to have a double feature. We're going to be reviewing Cemetery Man and Dylan Dog. Pretty much the same film from different times with different actors. In a way, they're both available on Tubi if you want to watch them, so that you know what they are before we review them. Handsome cat. I like Mouseguard. Yep, Mouseguard's a good comic. And that's pretty much the show, folks. So appreciate you watching as always. If you want to reach out to me on social media, I'm on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, at the Muskrat Channel, X at LewisBrightRave2. You can see more of my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven exclusively on YouTube. If you want to email me, quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com. If I don't get back to you off of that email, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. and the kitty is saying, I'm here. Okay, guys. You see me, I see you. Have a good night. Yep, we will. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you next time. Quoth the Raven, nevermore.